Hello, Project Runway fans. We are here to discuss episode 4 of season 17 of the design series. I'm Daniel Montgomery, senior editor with Gold Derby. I am here with my fellow senior editor, Susan Wazina. And this was an unconventional materials challenge, which is always the most fun or the most terrible, depending on who you are as a designer, who you are as a viewer. I enjoy these because I'm always fascinated to see who takes unconventional materials and completely transforms them, and who takes them and just duct tapes them around a model and calls it a garment, which kind of happened. So let's get straight into the how it all ended, the elimination. You texted me before when you watched this episode. You disagreed with the judges. I watched the episode. I disagreed with the judges, but we didn't specifically say in what way we disagreed with the judges.
Well, I thought we saved that for the meat of the matter here.
So I thought I'd let you start. What did you think of the elimination of Afa, who was sent home? COVID was in the bottom 2. And Sonia Kasparian was in the bottom 3, but
I knew Sonia the minute I saw the Reynolds wrap. No, and the duct tape. She was the duct taper extraordinaire. She tried to do the straps that Tessa did in the first channel.
Yes, but with duct tape.
They were sticky. But here's the thing. I think Afa is very talented. Okay. But he did one thing wrong, is he kept true to himself in his of what he makes, reflecting his culture and stuff. But he didn't make it camping, chic, which is what the challenge was. However, I liked his outfit.
I did too.
And
it was the best in the bottom 3. It was the best in the bottom 3 as far as I was concerned.
Right. Now, it's like, what's the greatest sin? I liked his outfit. I thought it looked cute on his model and all that stuff. She was cold. Maybe they held that against her. But they put them out there, okay? The designers didn't say, let's make our models really cold so they feel really uncomfortable in their clothing. But Renee
was the winner.
Actually won.
Yeah.
But we'll get to her in a minute.
Yeah.
Sonia, she finally talked this week. Okay.
Yeah, she got some.
They've been hiding her. She's been the one with the least amount of time, I think.
Yeah, I wonder if sometimes if that means it's either a good sign because they're saving her screen time for later because she's going to last a while. I think probably not. It makes me think that she'll probably go somewhere in the middle, and that she's not that she just doesn't have a lot of drama and that sort of stuff, and she's not going to make it far, so they're just not going to show her that much. Yeah. So I'm not that confident about her.
Okay, so her outfit was duct tape, Reynolds wrap, and twigs. I didn't see sewing there. I saw taping there, and she made the dress too long. I didn't think it looked that good from behind. It was like, a Macy's balloon. And that's for camping? I don't know. And then there's poor COVID. And,
poor COVID. Oh, COVID.
And that was just a train wreck. I mean, it was just lump upon lump of whatever, and it just did not work.
It was, I thought, first of all, I thought Appa's look, I thought it was good. I thought as he was designing, like, oh, that looks good. I like that. And I think, honestly, to single him out for the fact that his model is cold is really unfair. Yeah. Because there were some designers who had, not all skimpy, but these women were not warm in some of these outfits. And I actually liked most of her look, so I'm not knocking Tessa, but it just seems like a double standard. But Tessa's look, she had this kind of braided vest thing, and the rest of it was open mesh. She turned around, the model turned around, walked back down the runway. Her entire butt was hanging out of that thing.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know why like they gave her the benefit of the doubt on keeping her model form. You know, the only reason her model was warmer was because she was safe in the middle of the pack, and so her model didn't have to stand there during the critiques. Otherwise, her model would have been freezing. And poor COVID. COVID, I thought I love COVID so much.
You know what? You just froze for me.
Oh, okay.
You were on the butt, and then I heard no more.
I was just saying that it was a double standard, you know, for them to call out Afa for a cold model when the only reason Afa's model was cold was that he was in the bottom three, so she had to stand there during
and
the
hang out and be
If any of the other designers that had good scores or middle scores,
they were all warm and cozy under the
warm and cozy backstage.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was just getting to COVID. Who I wrote in my notes as that garment was coming down the runway. I'm like, the model looked like a woman went camping, and then like some serial killer came, wrapped her up and tied while she was in her sleeping bag and threw her in the trunk of his car. That's what it looked just so bunched up. It looked like it had no function. It had no purpose.
I can't remember how he described it, but I think I erased
it. Something about it being functional, and you know, and Carly was like, functional for what? And actually Brandon, who sometimes annoys me every once in a while with his critiques, but this time when he said it was like the Scarecrow meets the Tin Man, like the strings coming down the hands, like that was a very Wizard of Oz Scarecrow.
Yeah, no, he was right on. I don't normally appreciate him all that much, but that was appropriate. That was a very good. I did like too in the beginning when they said, "Oh, it's where fashion is born." They're all like going, did everybody bring their passports? And I mean,
I love that.
Thrown into a woodsy area. God knows, Toad Hill Woodlands.
Yeah. Even when they were in the bus and they're like, "Ooh, like maybe we're going to the airport." And this is
no way.
Like, I'm sorry, like Project Run, like Bravo's, I'm sure got some money, but they're not spending the budget to send you to Paris for like an unconventional materials for one challenge.
Yeah. I don't know, they might have had an awning or something over that because the models and everybody didn't seem all that wet. If we were out there like normal humans and the way it looked like it was raining.
Oh yeah, it looked like it was pouring.
Your makeup would run, your clothing would fall apart. So they didn't show, there must have been some kind of protection, I think.
And hopefully some heat lamps of some kind, like around with the lighting.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the winning designs.
All right.
The top three and the winners.
I had problems there too.
I did as well. The top three were Renee who won. Then the runner-up was Rakan, who was actually in the bottom two last week. And then Hester again in the top three. So what did you think about Renee's look?
I thought it was somebody said it was their favorite. Was that Nina?
I'm not sure if they said it was their favorite of her.
Or maybe Elaine said it.
No, yeah, I think Elaine said she liked it because Renee's had looked kind of matronly before, which I don't know what she's talking about.
Sophisticated to me, but then maybe I'm matronly. I don't know.
I'm matronly too. Our stuff looked great. Except for the 1 week she was in the bottom with the team challenge, but young or old, no one could have really worn that. I didn't see, like, she was worried she was taking the challenge too literally and that she was going too functional, not fashionable enough. I actually think her worry was right. I did not see enough kind of like chic, fashionable kind of in there. I saw like a big, that's the thing. If I were going to be a survivalist, I would wear hers before anyone else's.
Well,
doing a chic,
to me.
Doing a chic, high fashion look with survivalist.
And then she had like a hood and then something under it too.
I don't remember if there's anything under it. I do remember the hood and then the little animal skin or whatever it was.
Well, that was all.
Sash.
Well, if he kept that, maybe he would have. But I just thought it was too literal. And even I think she said that, that was too campy.
Yeah, and I thought it was a little
campy.
As in going camping.
Right.
And they called it, and they said it was like, oh, it's like Beverly Hills glamping. I was like, it didn't look glamorous.
It wasn't glamp at all.
It looked very practical, very suitable to the occasion, but it looked it didn't look that fashion forward to me.
The final straw was making the model carry that plastic water container. That is not a purse, all right? I don't know. And it just seemed, again, too literal. It wasn't flattering. Not
really. Like, it wasn't ugly, but I don't mind that she was in the top 3 because, like, okay, different strokes for different folks. She wouldn't have been in my personal top 3 or my bottom 3. But yeah, I just didn't see what they were so in love with about that look.
Yeah, it was so on the nose. That's not what you do, you know? And then they kept saying, oh, this is marvelous. You use the elastic from the tent. And I'm like, I can't see it. It's not helping me feel more, pleasure from looking at this. So I don't, this was the worst judging yet. I think we've been pretty much right on before, but this did not conform with what I thought. I'm sorry, my dog is now disagreeing with the judges too.
No worries. The other thing I had, because I thought in the top 3, I thought they were spot on. Hester, top 3. As soon as that look came out, she was the first on the runway. Her look, and I'm like, she's gonna win again. Like, before I saw anything else.
They loved her garter, and now they liked the little touch of red above the shoes. So I mean, she's got something going there. She does. Complete look, and if Afa's was too exposed or looking more tropical or whatever, hers, she looked like Carmen Miranda or something. It's like, so it was like 2 different kind of criteria they were going by. I don't think that was camping chic.
Yeah, I think it was good with unconventional materials, but I don't think it was practical in the way that they were looking, which is probably the only thing that hurt her.
Well, what helped her was the camouflage, because that's camping.
Oh yeah, and that skirt, the movement of it was so good and so comfortable and flowy. I mean, that's exactly what you want from an unconventional materials challenge, is for the design to not look unconventional in terms of the materials. You want them to turn these weird items into something that looks and wears like clothes, which I thought she did absolutely the best job at. And all this time, like first 2 weeks of the show, the show was setting her up, it seemed like, and editing her to be this like all over the place kind of basket case. And like I feel like they've kind of like pulled the wool over our eyes, because she's got it. Like she went from one print head to toe. She nailed that. She won that challenge. And then they take her out into the woods and say, here's some ropes, here's some tarps and camo and twigs and all this sort of, and she makes something else that's absolutely fantastic. So I'm really and she has a clear design, aesthetic, and personality that comes through very clearly. And so I'm like, okay, I want to see what she does for the rest of the season now. So I think she should have won. I also had some issues with Rakan's look. I thought it looked cool. I thought the undergarment with the bandage thing was really cool.
Well, I got mummy from it. It helped that he put the red stitching, like little patchworks and stuff. But it was better than he has been doing. And they liked that there was a woman inside there instead of voluminous fabrics just bursting forth. So I think he at least got a clue, and he got better. And so, I mean, it looked like, like I said, like the mummy got in an accident, had to get like plaster of Paris around his body.
Yeah. I thought it had a little bit of the same problem that COVID's did, so I'm surprised that he scored so high, which I think he did a better job than COVID
Yeah.
of managing the sleeping bag, but I
Well,
don't
I
think he
love the
transformed it.
plaid. The plaid helped. The plaid
It
was
did.
kind of nice.
It added visual detail, but I do think, like, from afar, like, I think he fitted it well, but it still kind of looked like just a woman wrapped in a couple of sleeping bags.
Well, but
To a
he had
degree.
this whole thing about, I don't know, the backstories. I mean, it sounds like he had a horrible childhood in Syria, so I don't hold that against him bringing that up. But that explained why he wanted to just cover his models so they're protected. And I go, but you're not in Syria now. You're in the woods and you have cameras and you're just very safe right now.
Yeah, and a big bubble parka isn't how you protect anyone in Syria. I don't think that seems like it would not be helpful there.
Yeah, yeah. But I wanted to see what Sebastian did with all those leaves, and it turned out pretty well.
Yeah, it didn't move great, but it looked great, and and his model didn't trip on it, which is
well, they made her have a traffic stop so that she didn't kill herself there for a minute, and then she moved on. So, but or that was not his. That was wasn't it Sonia's?
Oh yeah, Sonia's the one who tripped.
Almost, yeah, killed her model with.
Sebastian didn't trip, but he had that like very stiff dress that was not moving very well. But I thought it was constructed very well. And
no, it looked like fabric. It was amazing. I couldn't do that with leaves. So.
And it's a good thing it was there.
I think he's the leader now.
So. I do too, and and good thing it was like such a short challenge, and because by day 2, those leaves probably the color scheme probably
no, they would not keep up very well. But, well, was there any one outfit that just was safe that you wished we could see more of?
Going through my notes, I loved Hester's look. The first few that came out. With like there were a couple that were like really sexy. I thought like Garrow Sparrow like really came back from last week. Like he had this kind of like how do you turn like those, and his look had kind of like stiff materials, but it looked very slinky and fitted in a really flattering way. I loved that one.
Yeah.
I didn't like one. I would have been in my bottom 3 easy. Was Jamal. He had like this big blob of orange stuff that didn't like it didn't like, if they had a problem with COVID, they should have had a problem with Tim too. It's very well.
Well, maybe orange is the new, not the new black, but the new color. But
Fishmay's look was good too. He had this gray skirt with like these rocks and twigs decorating it.
That was a purpley top underneath.
Yeah, the purple bubble coat, which I guess was made out of a sleeping bag, which I thought was a great transformation of the sleeping bag. It looked a little basic to me, but then when she took off the purple coat, it had that. Yeah, so I'm like, okay.
No, that was very sophisticated. I mean, again, it's not for camping. So it's for night clubbing, maybe when it's cold out. I don't know. But yeah, well, I must say at least the last 2 challenges have been more specific, because God bless them for the first 2 episodes, because those were like wackadoo concepts. I mean, you look at a photo of someone you don't really know, and then you have to like be inspired by their fashion moment. That one I didn't get, and then the whole thing on the second
body modification.
I don't think that's really a thing, and if it is, I don't want to live in that city where it's a thing. But I liked the energy in this one because it was a little more fun. They were having more fun.
Yeah. More fun, more positive. No one was yelling. No one was angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No Nadine energy.
No Nadine energy. And I was big. I can't remember which designer had her model, the model Nadine was complaining about, but she came out in this low cut look, and I'm like thinking, she looks fantastic.
She worked it with this green emerald thing, right? Like, like a queen costume almost. She was regal. And it fit her just fine. And this wasn't even material that is meant to be fit on people necessarily.
Yeah, she managed to make that model look good,
Yeah.
and flattered
Yeah.
in like camping gear. And so Nadine, if she's watching at home, she'd be like, it wasn't her fault.
Right. Yeah. Well, no, I noticed that too because I looked out for her. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, Hester even had immunity, and she just went whole hog. Now, I will say, let me tell my dog to shut up. He's guarding me from squirrels. I'm sorry.
No worries.
But I will say there will be a challenge at some point that might be her downfall. A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, she managed to do things very well with that look. But again, it's manipulating. It wasn't sewing and complicated construction and fitting. It was enough. It was, this big netty thing, whatever that camouflage thing was with the holes. It worked out like a tutu or something, and it looked great. But I don't think that was more fitting rather than sewing, I think.
Yeah, I will be interested to see how she does in a more formal challenge.
Yeah.
Honestly, I think she could potentially turn that to her advantage to bring her own kind of unique, quirky aesthetic to a more formal look. But it doesn't seem like it would come naturally to her to do like a ball gown.
No. And if it was, God help us, because I don't know what it would be. But Brandon has to quit doing the reveal thing. Like, does he have to mention everyone? It's like we have eyes. I see somebody flipped a piece of fabric to show something, but I don't know if he doesn't like them or he's just being bitchy.
Yeah, it's like this, because this week he was complaining about, it's like, not complain, again, it's hard to tell. He was saying it's like, even in the woods, they managed to do a reveal or something like that. And the one he was talking about was Renee, who won the challenge.
Right.
So I can't tell if he, like, because he sound like, maybe it's just his tone, like he has resting annoyed voice or something.
Yes.
Like he just sounds like really kind of like,
Snide.
oh, whatever, snide, just as his neutral. And so, because she won the challenge for a reveal,
Right.
and there was another the purple coat taken off. That was another reveal that was safe. So he seems to be okay with the reveals. I don't know if he's complaining about them or praising them, or everything comes out of his mouth. This sounds vaguely annoying.
Okay. Now I forget what they showed from next week.
Next week looked fairly vague. Like it seemed, it didn't seem like an especially like, ooh, this is an interesting challenge, but maybe there's more to it. I think it's supposed to be luxury streetwear, and I like it looked from the clip that they only have until like midnight to get it done. So it's like maybe it's a much shorter challenge.
Why do they do that?
I don't know.
Why?
Because honestly, like if the only idea for the challenge is luxury streetwear, there's no like exciting hook to that. It's very straightforward, and it's not something adventurous like right after an like unconventional materials challenge.
Is that not an oxymoron though?
Well, I guess that's the idea, to see how you make streetwear that like maybe like that looks more formal or that feels a little bit more formal in a certain aspect. I don't know. We'll find out next week. Maybe it'll be interesting. I'm skeptical about how interesting the challenge will be.
Now I will give props to Christian this week. He was actually funny. He looked like he was having fun.
Well, yeah, because he got to stay in the hotel.
Yeah, but be that as it may, he was still out in the weather and all that crap. But anyway, I think he was more in the groove and more helpful and more outspoken because he's been a little bit mousy, I think. Maybe that Marnie is giving him some jitters.
Well, yeah, he knows he's got to compete. Like he just started this job, and all of a sudden Marnie comes in, and she's giving amazing advice to the designers, and it's like, oh, I have to up my game.
You're right. So I was glad to see that because he just was a little too low energy the first couple episodes. So I'm settling into this one. This one was a much more fun one. So
Yeah.
I'm all
it was a better challenge, but the judging was just
off.
I don't know. I love COVID, but he should have gone home for that. He really like, especially as his second time in the bottom three and the bottom two, really. Like for them to look at that and say you get to stay. It's like I love the guy, but not for that.
Well, even when they showed his good one from last week, it still had issues with fitting, and it just wasn't finished feeling.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as this look was bad.
Right. That's a good way to put it. So it'll get more interesting. And
I think his best look is still the first one. That Grecian gown that he gave to Mimi in that first episode. I think that was his best look so far.
Yeah. Well, that might be it.
Because they gave Frankie a second chance. They didn't give her a third one. They gave COVID a third chance, and so if he's even a little off next week, he's gone. I can't imagine them keeping him.
And I'm excited because next week is the 5th episode, and you can buy the outfit or whatever version they do of it. We'll see how that goes. So, but they have them in all sorts of sizes on that 19th Amendment, so they're not too overpriced. You have to get in there for a pre-sale. So.
Yeah. I mean, it better not be, because the good news is, on Project Runway, you not only see them design the looks, you know how much they cost to make.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's the budget they have.
The penny, yes.
You better not charge too much more than that.
Right, yes. Well, I'm done. I think, like I said, the best news is the show's getting a little more energy to it.
Yeah. A little more energy, a little less negativity, which is good. A little less conflict, which is good. I mean, reality shows are all about the conflict. That's my least favorite thing about them. I much prefer to see them like everyone should be friendly and professional and generally nice to each other and just compete based on who has the best work. And I just like that the most.
You need to watch a Great British Baking Show.
I've heard, that is all about niceness from everything I've heard. I would absolutely love it. Yeah.
But very lovely and very entertaining too.
So anyway. With that, thank you, Susan, for joining me, and thank you, everyone, for watching. If you like to hearing us ramble on about Project Runway this week and next week and every week this season, click like and subscribe, and you can see more of these videos in our Project Runway playlist. So thank you very much for joining us, and we will see you next week.